I'm 52 and I think we've been given the wrong advice about aging skin. I know that's a big statement, but after years of studying Ayurveda, working with hundreds of women, and watching my own skin change through menopause, it's something I've come to believe more and more. Hi, I'm Samantha, an Ayurvedic practitioner and co-founder of Magical Medicine. Somewhere around our 40s and 50s, our skin changes, and products that we've relied on for years, suddenly they just don't work the same anymore. And our skin can feel drier, more reactive, or perhaps we're simply losing that kind of healthy glow and it feels dull. So naturally, we do what we've been taught to do. We buy another product, a stronger retinol, an expensive serum, a miracle in a bottle, and we assume that if our skin has changed, we simply need to try harder. But what if that's exactly the wrong approach? One of the biggest things Ayurveda has taught me is this. Your skin is a messenger. It's an intelligent system. And we've been so programmed to silence the messaging that we've forgotten to ask what our skin is trying to tell us and what it needs. So today I want to share the 5 rules that completely change the way I think about aging skin. So rule number 1 is nourishment over correction. We've become so focused on correcting and fixing our skin that we've almost forgotten what healthy skin actually feels like. Most women eyeing me aren't asking to look 20 years younger. They want to look in the mirror and feel confident and feel happy with the skin that they're in. One of my clients, Claire, came to see me feeling completely overwhelmed. For nearly 15 years, she'd followed the same skincare routine, but somewhere around her mid-40s, she noticed that her skin had completely changed and it had become very dry, it had become sensitive and quite reactive. Her first instinct was exactly the same as most of ours. She already started researching for specialist products and wanted my advice on which ones to buy next. But instead of talking about products, I asked her a different question. What is your skin actually trying to tell you? And she looked at me completely blankly. Nobody had ever asked her that question before because we've been taught to see every change as a signal that something's wrong and needs fixing. But Ayurveda asks a different question. It asks why your skin has changed in the first place. One of the most interesting things we discovered during our recent consumer trial was that almost nobody talked about wanting younger looking skin. They didn't want to look younger. Women weren't chasing perfection. They wanted their skin to feel softer, more nourished, more hydrated. They wanted to get their confidence back. After just 14 days of using our simple Ayurvedic ritual, 94% of women told us their skin felt softer, more nourished and more hydrated. And that really confirms something I've been seeing in my clinic for a number of years. Most women aren't looking for perfect skin. They're looking for healthy skin. And there's a big difference between the two. Rule number 2, simplicity creates better skin. The women with the healthiest looking skin rarely had the busiest bathroom shelf. We've come to believe that more products must mean better results. So we buy something for pigmentation, then something for fine lines, and then something somebody recommends from Instagram. And before we know it, we've got a shelf full of products that all promise something slightly different. And skincare starts to feel super complicated. I don't think it was ever meant to feel that way. I remember one lady bringing her entire skincare collection to an appointment. She lined everything up on the table and neither of us could quite work out what half of it was used for. And she laughed and said, "I think I'm doing too much." And I remember thinking, you've been sold too much. She'd been encouraged to add something instead of understanding why her skin had changed in the first place. So over the following weeks, we stripped everything back to the bare essentials: a gentle cleanser, a nourishing facial oil, a daily sun protection, and just as importantly, a routine that she could actually enjoy and stick to. And there wasn't a miracle product in there. There wasn't one ingredient that suddenly transformed everything. Her skin simply had a chance to settle down and rebalance itself. And I think our skin is a little bit like us. When life feels noisy, we don't always function at our best. And I think the same is true for our skin. It responds beautifully to consistency, to simplicity, to feeling supported in a natural way. That doesn't mean everyone should have exactly the same skincare routine. What it does mean is that every product should have a reason for being there. So I'd encourage you actually to have a look at your own bathroom shelf, not with guilt, just with curiosity. Can you explain why every product is there? And does it still serve the skin you have today? And that's another big question. We've been taught that better skin usually comes from having more, but in my experience, it comes from understanding more. And once you understand what your skin is asking for, it becomes much easier to know what it actually needs. Rule number 3, healthy skin is about more than ingredients. We become incredibly good at talking about ingredients. Retinol, vitamin C, peptides, the latest this, the latest that. But I sometimes think we've forgotten to ask a much simpler question. Is what we're putting on our skin actually nourishing it? One of the things I love about Ayurveda is that it sees the skin as a living organism. Just as we think carefully about what we choose to feed our bodies, Ayurveda encourages us to think carefully about what we feed our skin, because every ingredient should have a purpose. It should nourish, support, protect. If an ingredient doesn't have a clear reason for being there, I always question, why is it there at all? When Maria and I created Magical Medicine, we kept coming back to one simple question. Why is this ingredient here? If it didn't have a clear purpose, it didn't make the final formula. Every botanical has to earn its place, and not because more ingredients automatically makes a better product, because every ingredient should contribute something meaningful to the health of your skin. Now, skincare, of course, isn't the whole story. We've all experienced those weeks where we feel overwhelmed, we don't sleep particularly well, we're rushing from one thing to the next, and somehow our skin looks tired before we've even admitted to ourselves that we are exhausted. Our skin often reflects what's happening beneath the surface. So yes, quality of your skincare matters. I believe it matters enormously, but so does everything else that nourishes you. And the more I studied Ayurveda, the more I realized that healthy skin isn't created by chasing the next miracle ingredient. It's created by supporting the whole environment the skin sits in. Rule number 4, understanding the skin you have today. One of the biggest shifts I made was realizing that I couldn't keep treating my skin as though it was still 30. And so for years I reached for the products I'd always used, wondering why they no longer seemed to give me the same results. It wasn't because my skin had stopped responding, so to speak. My skin had just changed and I needed to change with it. As we move into midlife, it's completely normal for our skin to become drier and more sensitive. That isn't because our skin is failing, its needs have changed. And our instinct is often to reach for something stronger, hoping we'll get the results that we're used to. But Ayurveda's taught me to stop asking, what's the best product for aging skin? And start asking, what does my skin need today? For many women, the answer isn't stronger skincare. It's more nourishment. It's supporting the skin barrier. It's choosing ingredients that work with your skin, rather than trying to force it to behave in a way it did 20 years ago. Rule number 5, your skin is a messenger, not a problem. So often we're taught to see every wrinkle, every patch of dryness, every breakout as something we need to fix. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this? I ask, what is my skin trying to tell me? And sometimes it tells me my skincare routine needs to change. Sometimes it tells me my skin needs more nourishment. Sometimes it reminds me that I've been burning the candle at both ends. And whatever the answer, my skin is giving me information. And I think that's a much kinder and ultimately much more effective way to approach midlife skin. Healthy skin isn't something we force, it's something we support. When we begin working with our skin instead of constantly trying to correct it, everything starts to feel simpler. And in my experience, that's often when our skin starts looking its best. So here's what I'd love you to take away with you from today's video. The shift from correction to nourishment, from overwhelming your skin to understanding it, and from chasing the skin you used to have to caring for the skin you have today. That's the philosophy Magical Medicine was built on, and it's the philosophy that's guided my own skin through midlife. If you'd like to understand your own skin a little better, we've created a free energetic skin profile quiz. It'll help you discover your skin's Ayurvedic blueprint. understand why your skin behaves the way that it does, and also give you simple, personalised guidance so that you can care for your skin with more confidence. Which of these 5 rules resonated with you the most and why? Leave me a comment below because I read every single one and your answers genuinely help shape the videos I create for the channel.